like YouTube felt back in 2008, where it was like this new upstart thing where people could create their own videos and post it online. And then, wait, what? Millions of people watch this video, and you get money from it. You can have a career from it, and so that's kind of what I'm feeling with creative mode, and especially UEFN since it came out is like this is something exciting. So I just wanted to be part of the space and kind of grew with it, and kind of adjust what I do here and there. I used to cover a ton of the creative hubs. I was like, here's the secret to the creative hub, and that was really big for a while, and then it kind of died off, and so I had to adjust. And as the audience kind of adjusts, and there's been a big adjustment this year with UEFN too, and so it's been a journey, and it's an ongoing journey, and there's lots of big stuff coming. So I'm excited about it. So there's long answer.
No, that's a great answer. Thank you so much. And yeah, I feel very similarly. Like, looking back on little me, if you were to tell me that the future of gaming was this, that you could go in and create a game in a very like at different levels, you could grow into making something and push it live and have that experience. My mind would literally probably explode. So I'm so thrilled that we have this amazing community, that we have you here, that we have you in the space creating awesome content. So thank you so much for the background for all of us here. And I've got a couple kind of fun personal questions that the community asked, would love to throw at you. So I had someone say they've been a subscriber for you from a year and for a year, and they've learned so much from you. But one question remains: how does he do it? And where are we dropping?
How do I do it? Where am
Just
we dropping?
yeah.
Let's see. Where are we dropping? Anarchy Acres, guys. That's like my spot. Either of the farms from the Chapter 1 map. I'm excited for the Chapter 1 map. If that's actually
Yes.
happening. Like, I love the farms. That was because they were like not too busy, like Tilted. I could never drop Tilted because it was just too crazy. The
Yeah.
farms were like, there's
Spicy.
always 2 or 3 people there to fight, get warmed up, and then you could roll into Salty Springs, or you kind of go wherever the circle takes you. So I always loved the farms. So that's where we're dropping. Prison drop. Prison was crazy. I see some people saying, but prison was wild before Tilted. It was like I always avoided Retail Row and prison, and I liked dropping in the Moisty Mire, and then roll into the prison and clean up the last 2 people that were remaining. Anyways, getting too crazy here. Oh yeah, so we're dropping at the farms, and how do I do it? I don't know. I mean, you just kind of do what you want. Like that's what I've always done, is like I do what I'm passionate about. And I had a lot of passion with YouTube. Like, I just knew I needed to do YouTube, and YouTube's a really, really challenging space to be in. There's so much competition, and there's so many things to the algorithms and video production, and your own personality, and then like the roller coaster of numbers, watching your numbers go up and down, and the downs are way harder than the ups are like high, and like there's a lot to it. And then like having to do that, I used to do a video every day, and also making maps and doing building other communities, doing a TikTok, whatever. Like, all these things were there's a lot, but you just kind of something you love doing, then it's okay. Like, you can work late nights, and you learn how to streamline things so that it can be faster. I trust me. I would read the Reddits about my maps, and sometimes they're like, "Oh, Mustard's fun to watch, but his maps kind of stink." But it was like, it's okay. I got it. Sometimes I'm like, I don't have time to go in and like fix the bugs. I build it for my YouTube video, and then I'd say, okay, if it's good, it's good. If it's not, sorry. And it would just say, I just push it out, right? So I had to like say, I'm not going to be perfect at everything, and like I needed this for my YouTube video, and I'd push out the map and say, good enough, it works for the video. And that's kind of changed. The Backrooms kind of changed with that, because I would build a little bit at a time with every video, and I made it better and better, and people would show me the bugs, and I'd fix it as part of the video, as opposed to like gotta go and fix the bugs and then make new content. I made it part of my content, and people liked that. People liked to like people were just trying to break my map, and then I would put it in the video, and I figured out ways to build and create content and make something that was a little bit better. And so it was just kind of a process of learning, and I'm trying. I'm in an adjustment phase right now too. Like, how do I do it all? Because I've got a lot of things cooking up I have not been able to talk about yet, and it's going to be a little bit more time before I can talk about it. But it's a lot of work, and so you've noticed some of my I'm not posting as much as I used to because there's so much work going on behind the scenes that I hope will pay off eventually. But yeah, how do you do it? You just kind of do it. And I mean, I've got a family with 4 kids, and I got another business I just still do stuff on as well. And it's a lot of work, but I don't know, the when you can focus in, and the older you get, I mean, I'm a little bit older than a lot of the people here listening, and when you have when I had kids too, that really focused me, and I'm just like I'm dialed in on the things that I'm going for. So long answer, but yeah, you just kind of you gotta stay focused. There's no part in my day where I'm like, I'm bored. There's no part in my like work day where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna check my socials, unless it's like for work. Like I'm like dialed in all day. And then even once my kids are in bed, I'm always checking stuff and thinking of things. So yeah, it's just a lot.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I also want to point out that back to the where we drop in comment and the descriptors we were giving there, without any context, if you were to come into this interview not knowing it was Fortnite, you'd be wondering about
What
whether
does
or
that
not
mean?
we'd been to prison. I don't and taken the guys out. So I really loved that. It was pretty funny. But yeah, no, there is just so much to juggle, and the things that you listed there about content creation too, Mustard. I mean, I know you know it as well that island creation, there's a lot of similarities, the ups and the downs, the
Very
numbers,
much.
things like that. So I think we're definitely going to dig into a bit of that today. One other question for fun: what was your first Halloween costume as a child?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I know that I was just a default ninja. Every I was like, because I've always liked Halloween. I like the trick or treating and getting candy. I've
Yeah.
never liked dressing up, costumes, whatever. I was just like, I'm gonna throw on a bunch of black coat clothes and like a little like we had like a little ninja mask, and I'm like, I'm a ninja every year.
Hell yeah.
And I was like,
Candy,
give me the
please.
candy.
Heck yeah. Oh my God. So diving a bit more into we're gonna start with your creator background and insights, I think, and then we're gonna slowly get into more of the content creation advice and questions that we have, which would be awesome. Also, we are definitely checking out what chat's saying from all the different places. I see so many people in here. Shout out to, oh my gosh, all of you. Thank you so much for showing up. We're going to possibly pull some questions from chat as we go if we can. Um, yeah, my mic is low, huh? Let me see if I can turn it up, or maybe if Dan the Van Man can ha- um, fix that for us. Thank you. If possible, let me know if it gets any better. I added a little bit of gain to help with that. Thank you for calling that out. So, with that, let's see. So, you talked a bit about getting into the Fortnite community and into Fortnite creative. So, I'm going to dive into now that UEFN is out there, Unreal Editor for Fortnite. What are the things that you're hoping to see for the future of this community as a whole?
Of the community, or just like
Yeah,
in the
like
tools, or
well, I guess it's a very broad question, but I'm trying to narrow it down a little bit just for the sake of we have a lot of questions. So I'm guessing like what this person was saying, like in because there are questions about tools later.
yeah,
What are
okay,
you hoping to see created,
community.
or what are you hoping to see for the future of what's coming out of creations within the community?
Hmm. You know, the number one thing I think about when I think of content creation, or just in playing games in general, I just want fun. I want to have fun, right? And I one thing I do see in the community sometimes is people, uh, you know, playing aloud about different elements. Where why is this map doing well, or that why is that one not doing well? And I always like to go into the maps and like try and play them and what because there's some things that just I don't connect with in certain types of maps, but I know they're getting a lot of plays because they're fun to someone, and I'm like, "What's fun about this game?" I go and I try and understand what is fun because people don't. One thing I've noticed a lot about just games in general. I've watched. I grew up. I was a Nintendo guy, right? And back in the days, it was Nintendo versus Sega, and then it was PlayStation and like what's the best. And I was a Nintendo diehard. And one thing I love about Nintendo is like they kind of stayed in the more youthful crowd with their animations and graphics, and things were getting so hyper like realistic in graphics that it was like for a more mature audience. And people would always be like, why is Zelda so get so many sales and whatever?" And or even like you look at the more recent Zelda titles like Breath of the Wild or Here's the Kingdom. People are like, the graphics stink. Why how did they sell 11 million copies or whatever it is? I'm like, because it's fun. And it's just fun. It doesn't matter like what it looks like. Sometimes if the game's fun, it's fun. I just want the community to make things that are fun. And if it's a red versus blue or some insane awesome adventure, open world MMO, like honestly, there's just like there's so many ways this could go, and that's one thing I love about UGC. Like, just is that it can go anywhere and you can find anything. And right now, we're a little bit limited by the tools, but UEFN is kind of like limitless as it grows. And so I'm excited to see the fun things people produce that are different, that bring in new audiences. That because right now the Fortnite audience is very combat centric, like the battle royale combat centric, and I'm excited to see that evolve in the coming years, and that we'll get to see more different game modes do really good numbers and a lot of plays and like yeah. So I'm excited to see the fun expand
Heck
in the
yeah, me
future.
too. I think all of us can agree on that. I the more and more awesome things that y'all are creating that defines a new level of fun within the platform has been really, really exciting to see. All of us over here at Epic celebrate those creations, and we have our own channels where we share them and talk about them and get excited. So, really, really excited to see what's to come with the new tools and things that will be coming out and ways that we can enable the further of that creation. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Um, where this you got a lot of questions about people wanting you to predict the future of what you think is going to happen on UF and Fortnite. Right. There's some that were, where do you see it in 5 years? Where do you see it 10
Yeah.
years? Where do you see it in 1 year? Um, I I kind of want to throw it to you. I know we have a lot of questions to go through, and we really could pontificate upon this for a very long time. But what, in terms of like where you see things going in the future, Mustard? Do you feel strongly about a good um, idea of what could come within a year, or if you do feel like you have a vision for 5 years, would love for you to share that as well. But what do you see for the future of the platforms?
There is I think I mean this year is a learning and growth year. I think like the whole community is learning the tools. The builder side of the community, I think, even from there are a lot of like AAA people that are experiencing UE that are coming in and they're still learning. I mean, they've got to learn as much as some of the creative folks coming in too. There's just a different tool set, different language with verse, and the tools are still growing as well, right? So I think it's going to take. I mean, you guys can you Epic folks can talk more about the tools, but it's still probably a year or two away before it's really in a comfortable spot to where the tools are like limitless, as powerful even as like UE or something. I don't know if it'll ever be as powerful as UE, but in the same kind of realm where you can build whatever you want. Right now, there's still things that are being developed, like the camera control systems and the ability to make like have a weapons manager and stuff like that, like that we don't have yet, but hopefully are coming in the next couple of years that I think will open up a lot of doors. So I think the next year or two is going to be like a growth period. We're learning, people are developing studios, and we're going to start to see bigger and better experiences being created in the next year. And I think also at the same time, Epic is doing their own things. What I understand of to increase the audience with different experiences that are coming down the line, and I think that's gonna bring in a lot of new audiences that'll be, like, experiencing creative for the first time, which will be really fun and cool, and we'll get to see how that helps things to grow. But I think long term, you can kind of look even at the growth of something like Roblox, where I mean, Roblox has been around for what, 14, 15 years, and it's taken a long time to build up to grab that audience, and there's a huge audience out there that already understands UGC and will want to be in this space to play the games, to build the games, to be a part of it. And then what I'm most excited about is Tim's vision of what the metaverse is, and eventually where Verse is going to move outside of Fortnite into Unreal Engine or or some form of that, where if you have a popular game that's popping off in Fortnite, you can port it out and publish it on Steam through a UE or something. And like for me, that's really exciting. Like when I think about the metaverse, when it extends outside of Fortnite, and how we creator community here will be so well positioned to build the metaverse, and we're not just build the Fortnite creative verse, it's build the actual like metaverse. And I feel like the talents and things you guys are developing now in UEFN are going to be so valuable in 5, 10, 15 years as those tools expand, and as Tim's vision really starts to take root in not just Fortnite, but in just the gaming world in general. Like I feel like the community now that's developing these skills is going to be highly valuable and highly like sought after. So it's a good place to be in. If this can all come to fruition, I think it's the vision. I see Tim's vision of what this can become, and it's really exciting when you really start to think about when it extends outside of Fortnite. Like that's really exciting to me.
Yes. No, I think we all definitely, I mean, the possibilities are kind of endless with these kinds of things, right? And to your point, with the different platforms that have been around a really, really long time, we can even compare it to UE's evolution, right? They've been around
Yeah,
quite some time, building and building, and it has taken a long time to get to where they are. So I feel like the dream is to one day probably have it to the same, level in terms of what we are able to offer for tools, what is capable. That is like probably the North Star dream. And it'll probably take definitely a lot of time, just like any
yeah,
platform. So we're so thankful to have everyone here. I know we're still technically in beta. So being able to test out the new tools for UEFN is so, so helpful and creative, keeping parity as much as we can, but also making sure it's a good starting place. It's a good place for some development is really, really important to us too, so we can pull in new developers who are curious about it. So curious
yeah,
to see or excited to see where it all goes. And thank you for sharing your insight on that. Very, very interested to see how it ends up lining up in the future and see if
yeah,
you're a fortune teller
yeah.
of
We'll
the
see.
future of UEFN and creative.
But just
Um,
imagine if you could be the first, you could be the PewDiePie of UGC or the Markiplier or
there you
whatever. Like the people
go.
that got in first
Yeah.
and like to YouTube, like they exploded and
Yeah.
became the godfathers of this UGC platform. It's the people here that are listening and talking and learning and growing and going through the growing pains. There's lots of growing pains.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as
Always.
discovery evolves, as the tools evolve, as the creators evolve, the community evolves, working together, and the player base evolves. There's lots of growing pains, but just like there was with YouTube, if you watch the YouTube growth, it was painful as they learned to pay creators, as they learned to work with creators, as they learned to work with the music industry, as they demonetized everyone, and like there's all sorts of things that were pain points in YouTube, but it grew into this. like the
Yeah,
biggest platform on earth when
for
it comes
real.
to like there's more people watching YouTube than watches anything else. And it's like that blows my mind. Anyway,
Me
so
too.
that's
Me
that's what
too.
this can become. There'd be more people playing your games and are playing anything else. You look at Roblox, there's more people playing some of those games than are playing any other game out there. Period. And
Yeah.
and they're these little UGC creations. Well, not little, they're big ones, but it's made by like people like us. So anyways, it's exciting.
Yeah, no, definitely. I have a I know congratulations on the announce of your first published officially island, by the way. If you would like to chat more about that, we'd love to hear it. Someone did
Sure.
ask if you ever would publish one, so exciting to be able to chat more about it on here. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
They're also wondering though, in addition to that, or with that island that you have published, if you're looking to have like consistent updates or kind of create this community around an island in the future, or the Backrooms one that you just published.
Yeah.
They're wondering if you'll have someone that's like living on, such as that.
Yeah. So I kind of stumbled into the back rooms. I no clipped in into the back rooms. Uh, it was just something I saw last year that was really, viral, and I was like, oh, this would be fun to. This would be a fun escape room, basically, to build in Fortnite. And I just I built 3 levels, put out a YouTube video, and then said, if you guys like it, I'll make more. And people liked it. And I at the time I had publishing rights, but I couldn't see any map data or anything. Epic was nice enough to let me publish. I just couldn't see anything. So a lot of people didn't know that. I couldn't see the stats of the island. I had no idea how many people were playing it, but I knew people liked it on YouTube. So then I made another video where I built 3 more levels. And I said, if you like it, I'll keep making it. And it ended up being 20, 30, 40. I don't remember. It's like 20 to 30 videos and over 50 levels that I built that all connected together. And it became this like living map that was growing. And the audience would tell me what to build. They're like, build this level, build that level, and here's this bug, and there is that bug. And we kind of built it together. And I love that. I love that model. And so I definitely have plans to do that um, with other map series. And once again, I can't talk about it. I have some really big plans, and things are going to start forming in the coming months. I actually wasn't even expecting to be able to have create my own islands. It was a surprise to me as it was to anyone else. I found out on Twitter too that this would be I would be able to do this, and uh, it was so yes, I've got plans to do maps like the Backrooms. I don't know if this one I released just yesterday, the one with the like cool entities and it's kind of a survival map. I don't know if that one's gonna expand much. It definitely will. Like I want to go in and add a few things. Like I was just working on a little bit before this. Um, I don't know if I'll do a whole series like, oh, now there's 5 more levels that you need to get through. That's to be determined. The old map is doing fantastic right now. It's like top 25 or something last time I looked. And I know there's a lot of rumors out there that 1.0 maps don't get on Discovery. That's not in my experience now. I re-released my Backrooms map in to be in Discovery, and it is just taken off. Uh, so I mean, it's already had like 500,000 plays in the last day, which is crazy. Oh, by the way, I could look at my stats on the Backrooms, and it got 2 million plays without any Discovery help. That was crazy to me. But now it's like actually in Discovery, so people are getting to play it that never got to play it before. So it's really fun to watch, and that's a 100% creative map, not a UEFN map. So
Heck
there's
yeah.
uh so yeah, long story short, I have plans to do series of maps that grow for that and that can last for like a year or two. Yes.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting. And congrats again. And glad to hear
Thank
that
you.
they've been successful even when they were dormant. now,
Yeah.
and now they
Yeah.
have time to shine. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Um, I have a really interesting advice question here. So, if you lose motivation for an island that has strong potential, you really believe in it, but you just lost that drive. How do you kickstart that motivation again? What would you recommend?
Mm.
I mean,
I
this
mean,
could go for content creation, I guess, as well. Just like, how do you go
yeah,
about the creative space doing that?
there's I mean, the Backrooms is one, right? That's one where I just kind of got tired of keep expanding it, and after building 50 levels of it every other week, it just kind of got a little bit old. I wanted to do different things. UEFN was coming out, and I wanted to really dive into that. Um, and I just wasn't my future wasn't certain there. I didn't know what that brought with UEFN, and um, it was sometimes you do need to stop. Sometimes you need it's time to move on to something else. But there's lots of times where I've lost motivation to do something. And honestly, I hate saying this, but as an adult, you just kind of push through it. And, not everything's going to be super fun all the time. And like there is a time to say, I'm done with this and I'm moving on. But also, you just push through. You push through. And this is one thing I've noticed on YouTube is, man, YouTube is a roller coaster grind, and it's like the downs are really down, and it's hard when you see your channel kind of like dying and you think it's dying. And the one thing I've noticed with a lot of channels is those that push through, like they see that those are the ones that have the most success. And like you just got to push through it, and then you see like these massive spikes. And same thing with, I'm sure, with if you're building a map and you just lose motivation, you don't know if that map could be the next Only Up or the next red versus blue sensation. You could create a whole new meta, and you don't even know if you don't push through it, you'll definitely never know. So I think about that a lot. I'm like, when is the right time to give up? Or not give up. When's the right time to move on? And when's the right time to and when should you just push through it? And I would say most of the time you should push through it, and you just kind of got to suck it up and do it. And I hate saying that sometimes because people are just like, it's so hard, or I'm so depressed, or I'm so whatever. Um, and there's times when you need like some actual help with other people. Friends help a lot. A team helps to push through where you're like, I just need a break. Someone else can build this for a while. I don't know, but you just gotta push through it. And that's what a lot of these most successful people out there, they've learned how to push through the mud to get to where you want to go. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. No, that makes a lot of sense. And that's the hard part is a lot of creatives that I know,
Uh,
um,
can you guys
they
not
don't.
hear it? Wait. Can you guys hear us? Sorry. Some people are saying it's trying to hear what
I
you
can
can't.
hear
Oh,
you.
okay. Okay. All right.
It might be we're having oh, am I still low? Oh man. I don't know. Try and check. I'm kind of worried to like blow people's eardrums out, so definitely double check Discord settings if you can for me. Um, okay. Thanks
Okay.
everyone.
I
I
just
just
want to
want to
make
make
sure.
sure I'm not, yeah, because I was way too loud the other day and I like oh now
Like
they're just
yelling,
trolling
hey
us.
guys.
You stop it in there. Oh my goodness. But yeah, I think that's the hardest part is I know a lot of creatives who don't push through that mud, and then it becomes this perpetual cycle of, oh, I didn't
Yep.
push through. Maybe I'm not creative. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not, and it just kind of loops like that until you do finally push again. So I definitely agree with that
I will say
sentiment.
this. I will say so. One additional thing that has really, really helped me is my YouTube channel, like the content I've made for it, because I'm like I gotta upload something, and I don't have time to build a whole new map or make a whole new video. I did a bunch of I've done shorts. Shorts have been a huge thing for me in TikToks, where I do quick builds, and especially for this audience that's watching, where you're builders, I whenever all of my shorts, I say I'm not going to spend more than an hour building it, and then like probably an hour editing it. So they all have to be done really fast. And that's helped my brain so much to like snap out of it, because sometimes I'm like you get stuck in the mud of your map of the last 20% of your map is so hard to like push through, make sure all the mechanics are connected, make sure all the aesthetics are just right, make sure there's the right UI, make sure there's the right description and thumbnail and all these things that are like kind of people get really stuck in. Take a little break and go and build something for give yourself a 1 hour and say, I want to build the Millennium Falcon, or I want to build a robot that looks scary, or I don't know. And you just go build it. And for me, that clears my mind so much to just build and within a time constraint. And I've done that a lot with build competitions. A lot of people come into my channel that have done build competitions. Are like, wow, that was so fun. It's been a while since I've just built, and then said that's good enough. Same thing, like we used to do these 4 hour build challenges with Immature. He's in the chat with Maka Makes, Shride, who are at Team Beyond, and those like we talked to those guys. That man, it's been a while since I've just built. Get so caught up in the business or sponsorships or whatever it is, you forget that how fun it is to build. I would say I would challenge yourself to do things. It's just like I'm just gonna go and build, or I'm just gonna go and learn how to program this thing, or how to use the sequencer, or whatever it is. Just go have fun. Like don't forget to have fun, and that helps a lot, especially with the updates. That's one thing you guys probably seen me do, where I just go and try and break everything. Like have fun with it. Sorry, Epic, for trying to break everything, but like I want to go and see like how many cars can I throw on the map, and what happens if I blow them all up, and what happens if I try this insane thing and it's really fun for me and it's great content for YouTube, but it's also just fun to test the limits, and it breeds all sorts of amazing ideas in your head. And you're done that, you can go back to finishing your map and be like, and maybe there's even something you learned as you were doing that that's going to help you finish your map. That's another little piece of advice.
That's great. No, and we agree. Break things, because if you break things, then we can figure out what needs to be fixed to make it better, or maybe it's something. I think we've heard this a lot before, where when creators start doing certain things and in order to create fun content or create some sort of game loop that is really engaging, that people really enjoy. I know that in the past, Epic has noticed those things and then gone, "Oh, we're going to implement this new tool to make that better or easier, so you don't have to do this kind of workaround, or so you don't have to do this crazy thing." So definitely keep us posted. Let us know those things. If you
For sure.
find bugs, definitely report them. All of that helps us.
Yep.
So we still have a few. I want to get to also your content creator expertise in terms of like building a community, because I think that's really a difficult thing in this space to understand intuitively how to do, and it's also a job in and of itself, as I'm sure you know, and experience all day every day. But building those communities inside of an industry or community can be a lot. But we did have one last great question for being a well-known Fortnite creative, UEFN expert content creator. What do you find most rewarding about sharing your creations and knowledge with the community on the day to day? Is there anything in particular that really ignites that fire, that pushes you to keep creating content and creating islands?
Hmm. I mean, I like to see people play it. Like it was fun. Like just right before we got on to do this chat, I was playing my new map with my Discord server and just kind of playing. It
Nice.
was fun to see people do it. And even last night, I saw a typical gamer was streaming my map, and it was him and a couple of other like pro players, pro Fortnite battle royale players were playing it, and they were like screaming and like, what's that? What is that thing in front of me? And it was just so fun to watch. That is really rewarding to watch people play your creations. And same thing with even like my videos. Like I love going and reading the comments, and people are like, "Oh, that was hilarious at 3 minutes 50 seconds or something," or Mustard just did something embarrassing, and I'm like, "Oh, whoops," like I didn't notice that when I was recording. Or it's just fun to interact with the community. And I think there's a question later. This is probably the answer to that. Um, like I was at Unreal Fest uh just a few weeks ago, and I was talking to Tony Quest, who some of you guys may know. He's I think he's at, where's Tony now? He's in Alliance. Anyways, he came on to one. I played one of his maps for on my channel. It was like this big adventure map. It's very similar to like Zelda. I can't remember the name of the actual map. And he said no one was playing my map at the time, and someone played my map, and it was like so motivating for him. And then like the community started to know who he was because they're like, "Oh, you're Tony. You're the guy who made that map that Mustard played." And then people from the community started to recognize him. And then I brought him into a build competition with him and some other prominent creators. And they started talking. They actually ended up forming a team, and it like launched into this awesome career for him. And he's like, thanks for playing my map. And I was like, that meant so much to me to be like, I didn't even think much about that map after playing it on that stream and or video, whatever it was. I think it was a stream. I streamed it. And it seemed like just a piece of content for me, but for him, it made a huge difference. And like that all kind of came back years later to me. And he was telling me this at Unreal Fest, and it meant so much to be a part of something that helped him to become the awesome, amazing creator he is today. And so, yeah, so that's the kind of feedback I like to see. I love to see people grow. Another person was Rhinex. Some of you guys may know. Like, he's another person I've known for years and just watched him go from this teenager in creative mode to this insanely talented, amazing like creator that's for 3D Lab. And he's awesome. I've loved watching him grow, and a lot of other people in this community, I've loved watching them grow. And whether that's from something they watched on my video or not, or just me playing their maps, and just being part of the community has been really fun, rewarding.
Yes, no, definitely a shout out to Rhinex as well. And thank you so much for sharing those stories. Those are super cool. I know we all have those special stories that just kind of keep us going
Yeah.
and give us that experience. It's like, no, this is exactly why I do this. So thank you for sharing that. Um, so a big one here that I think will help a lot of creators building, online communities within this industry, whether that's UGC, gaming in general, or both combined where we're at. I know it could be a challenging but definitely fulfilling thing to do. What advice do you have for those looking to build and continue to nurture their own communities and
Mhm.
followings that will help them succeed?
Oh, that is a very, I mean, we could talk
We
hours and
could.
hours about this.
I know.
I'm gonna try and condense this as much as I can into like a 2 or 3 minute answer. Um, One is you have to invest in it. A lot of people think I'm just gonna make a map, I'm gonna post it, it's gonna get up on Discovery, and it's gonna blow up, which may be the case for some people. I feel like that's a very rare case. You have to build a community if you want to make this sustainable, a sustainable career. Um, and I think in order to do that, you have to be willing to invest in it. And I'm not just saying you have to have like Mr. Beast money to invest into building it. Like, oh, here's $10,000 tournament or whatever. If you have that, that's great. Make sure you use it right. You can lose money real fast doing that, and it won't be effective. But what I mean by invest is your time and your efforts. Um, and putting it into the right things. Because you could go right now and try and start a YouTube channel like mine and do long form content. Um, and that might be the right thing for you or for your content, but maybe it's not. There's these amazing tools out there. There's shorts, there's TikToks, there's reels, and there's Snapchat, and there's all sorts of places you can build communities and really create something that people are excited about. Whether that's building a Backrooms, right? I built a whole community around the Backrooms. They just wanted to see Backrooms videos, and which was good and bad at the same time for my. It was like great for my content when I released Backrooms video, not necessarily great for my other videos. And so there's a balance to doing this, but it just takes a lot of time, and aren't a lot of people are map makers, they're not content creators. But I would say you just got to start with one. Like when I started my YouTube channel, I was streaming. I started as a streamer on YouTube Gaming. I was streaming to myself and my phone. I had my phone open so with the screen, so it said there was two people watching instead of just one. And so I was like, oh yeah, I got more people watching me. It was just my phone. And but then the first person came in, and I was like, "Hey, first person!" I wish I remembered the name of the person, and I would talk to them, and I would interact with them. If you have one person playing your map, what are they? And they tweet you, or sorry, they chat with you on X or what? I don't know what we're calling. They X you. What is that? What do you even call that?
I don't
Anyways, they
know. I
tweet
don't
you.
want to.
They message you on Reddit or on just there's the one member on your Discord. Really love them, like love them, treat them awesome, and then they'll be like, "Man, my friend, you should come in here." They become your marketing as it grows. I mean, just look at what Fortnite did. Fortnite released as Save the World, eventually released Battle Royale, and people started to notice. Like streamers were like, "This is fun." And I want to play this. And it grew because it was word of mouth. It wasn't necessarily all the marketing Fortnite was doing. It was people were like, this is a fun game. I want to play this. And then Fortnite made it e- even more fun. It started introducing storylines and meteors that are going to come in and new points of interests. And they would respond when Ninja was like, why isn't there enough skins? I would take a plunger with a sword stuck through it, and I would buy it. And then a week later, there was a plunger with a sword stuck through it because Epic was listening to the community there, which was smaller at the time. And it was those kind of things that really people were like, oh my gosh, Epic listens and they're responding and they're growing and this is fun, fun, fun. Before you know it, it was the biggest video game in the entire world. And it's the same thing. You can take that model of I built something, people find it fun. You have this small community. Now, how can you grow it? You can respond to them. You can build it until they're starting to go out and like talk to other people. And my backrooms level that started with three little levels became 50 because everyone was coming in and getting in and on it and they felt like a part of something. So I think that's what it is. It takes time and effort and investment, and it doesn't have to be a cash investment. I'm talking about like a time and emotional investment into building a community. And if you have some cash, that's just a way you can amplify it, whether it's with giveaways or um, increasing the quality of your map or your broadcast or your video or whatever. That's where you can invest cash. But it takes a bit of investment, and then also it takes drive. Like it's so easy to give up and think that was a waste of my time doing that thing, and people give up versus saying, okay, well, I'm gonna analyze what I did and I'm gonna adjust. And usually, sometimes that small adjustment that you make can skyrocket your content or skyrocket your video. So yeah, be patient, be willing to invest. Don't don't give up and but also just realize how important it is to build your own community. Like it's worth it um when you can release a map and you have a couple hundred people that will just go in and play it because it's your community. Like that is power.
Yes, absolutely. And I know you touched on this a little bit, where we were talking about how it's kind of hard to make content for everyone to pull everyone in. And then Fortnite
Mhm.
in itself has such a diverse player base, people who enjoy a lot of different things. They do come together for Fortnite itself. So we have that in common. But what do you think is the key to creating content in the space? Whether you're advertising your creations like your islands, or you're trying to create tutorials for the community, or you're trying to become an influencer in the space. What do you think the key is to that, to appealing to a broad range of players and ages in that way,
Trying to
or
appeal
based
to a
on your experience?
broad range is tough in
Yeah.
this space because there's people that like combat maps and there's people that don't. They hate combat maps and they only want the variety games, or people that just want to do death runs, or people that just so it is hard to appeal to a wide range of people. And I don't even know if that is necessarily I don't know if that's necessary. Like for me, I chose so Fortnite Creative was a smaller pond than Battle Royale was. And I said I could go into that space because I think I could be a bigger fish in that smaller pond, and versus being a really small fish in this huge pond. And I said, okay, I'm going to go and try and dominate this space of creative mode. And like I wanted to grow and be the biggest fish in the creative pond, and that was my like goal. And so I grew there. And then at some point you can say, well, now how can I get into the big pond and I might be a small fish for a while in the big pond, but I know how to grow now. And so I learned how to grow in the smaller pond, and which was a still sizable pond. There just wasn't as much competition in there. And there are lots of communities within Fortnite itself where it's really hard to compete. It's really hard to build a practice map right now and be competitive. Like to really get up into the top practice maps. But there's lots of other communities, whether it's I mean, you see someone like Neverty in the horror maps where he's just found a really good formula that works great for him. And he's made a whole career off of horror genre. Or tycoons are all the rage right now, or even death runs. Death runs are still so popular. And a lot of
Yes.
people have stopped building death runs, but they're so popular. Like you could dominate a space and really learn and cut your teeth on how to build a community. And then you can say, all right, I've got this really good, what if, or before I move on, what if you could have the top gun game that is always getting 500 CCUs? That's a career. You can build a career off of that. And um and then once you've learned and cut your teeth on that and learned how to build that community and have a solid following, then you can try and expand into some other space. And eventually, who knows, you might be able to build something that's so good that now you're at the top of the practice
Yep.
one, or you've built something that's so fun that everyone wants to come and play it. Um like an only up or something. And
Everyone's curious.
so yeah, I think it really is about sharpening your tools, learning in somewhere where you can grow and where you think you can dominate, and then you grow into other communities and other spaces.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we're getting close to time, but I've got a couple really, really awesome gem questions that I'd like to dig into. So let's see. Thank you again, chat, for um, being here and chatting with us. And yes, please feel free, as we ask mustard questions as well. Love to hear your thoughts. Love to share each other's experiences and thoughts that you all have on advice as well, because that is always super helpful. So thank you so much for doing that. And yes, have a good Halloween, everyone. Thanks, Skylar. So the Fortnite creator community, as you know, there's a lot of trends, like you just mentioned, that kind of pop off and developments that we see. But is there any trends or developments you're, possibly seeing on the horizon for Fortnite Creative UEFN or online gaming communities in general? And as a content creator, I know you're always looking to kind of stay ahead of that curve, right? And keep your eye on what trends are happening. How do you best plan to stay ahead of those trends and to also keep on top of those trends as both an island creator and a content creator?
That's really hard. I mean, it's like, what's the next big thing?
Yeah, yeah.
I
How do you
I
set
don't
yourself
know.
up for success
I don't know
doing
what the
that?
next big thing is. I mean, I think for me, I just like to make things that I want to play, right? Things that I think are fun. To me, when I built the Backrooms, I thought that was fun to have this big liminal space that is kind of creepy, but it's not actually like scary. It's just kind of eerie. And like I loved that. I thought it was such a fun idea. That was something that was really cool, that was blowing up on the internet, on YouTube. And like that as a video game was a really cool concept to me, and I'd seen there was some other video games, and I think there's even some other maps that were made, but I just wanted to do it myself. I wanted to put my own spin on it. That was something I wanted to build. I thought it was fun, and it was very successful for me. And I think that's what it is. It's like, what's fun? I mean, the Backrooms is dead. Is kind of dead. Like the meme is dead out there on. It's not dead. It's just way less than it was a year ago. But I was like, well, I still want to build something in the backroom, so I built a new map on that. And my old one's blowing up at the same time. So it's hard to say what's going to be next. Uh, I think there's so many tools that are coming. Like I saw Ray. He talked about he thinks pets are going to be a big thing next in UEFN, like having like your companion pet or Pokemon or something, and that could be a really interesting space. I think, um, uh, like Epic talked about some of the tools they're working on at Unreal Fest. I think are going to kind of drive some of the meta, whether it's first person maps or side scrollers or things that you can do with camera controls or I don't know. There's a lot of different things like that I think that are coming that will be popular in UEFN. And I think gaming in general, the next big thing is is UGC. So gaming in general, UGC has kind of it's been this thing that's growing and building an audience kind of in secret. Where I'm trying to think of like a good example is esports. So like I've talked to so many people. They're like, when do you think esports will be bigger than sports? And I'm like, it already is. Like there's more people that watched some of these esports events than the Super Bowl. And like that blows my mind because it's these communities that no one's it's not mainstream. It's not mainstream communities that are building are watching esports. It's these, it's kids, it's people like me, it's people like that are playing these video games that the mainstream doesn't really pay attention to. Before you know it, it's a bigger industry than the biggest industries out there. Same thing's happening in UGC right now. Like there are so many people playing Roblox. There are so many people playing Fortnite creative. Like people are shocked. The battle royale world is shocked when they hear, wait, more people are playing creative than battle royale. No, that's not true. It's true. Like it just kind of came out of nowhere. It didn't come out of nowhere. We've been building it for 5 years. People didn't really see it, and that to me, this UGC space is the next thing. I think in the next decade, where people are going to be playing maps in Fortnite or in Roblox or whatever other platforms that may arise. Like to me, that's or I think that is the next big thing that people are going to be shocked that has overtaken like other maybe that doesn't mean that AAA games won't be still huge. That's like saying like football's just gonna die. It's like football's not gonna die. The NBA is not gonna die. It's just a different audience that is gonna be huge. So that's the next big thing. I mean, it is we are the next big thing in gaming, I think.
Sweet. Love that. And lastly, if you could work on any dream project, sky's the limit within Fortnite Creative or UEFN within that space, or collaborate with any famous person, brand, content creator, what would it be and who would you choose to work with?
Uh, uh, so I'm a little bit older. I probably like look, content creators are awesome. I love working with them. I've worked with quite a few actually in different, whether it's with videos or I have some of the biggest names out there that you can think of, and it's awesome. But if I could work on anything, I'd probably want to work with like I don't know, George Lucas or
Yeah.
or like a Steven Spielberg or JJ Abrams, Christopher Nolan. Like to me, like some of those like directors out there where I could be like Christopher Nolan's like bringing the Batman universe in or or George Lucas is like, well, we're gonna build Star Wars in Fortnite. like that is like and like be able to have no limitations on it. Like to me, that would be more of the direction I would go. Is those kind of people.
Well, I'm sure everyone would love to see that, and that would be super exciting. And I love all those things, so don't sell your sell your I guess generation short, Mustard.
Yeah,
Those things are amazing. We are the same. We are the same.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, but that's super awesome. Well, I would love to do one last thing, and that is let's take some rapid fire fun questions in chat. Anybody have any quick questions for Mustard? Maybe we can knock a couple out. And just like we have like a minute. Give us like a minute of questions, y'all. Let's go. Oh, we got favorite cheese. Do you like cheese?
I
Allergies to
love
cheese.
cheese. I like sharp cheddar cheese, man. That's my favorite. I can just eat a
What do you
block of it.
what do you have against ketchup?
I love honestly. I've said this to my wife. Ketchup is my culture. She doesn't love ketchup. I love ketchup. Like mustard's my name, but it's and I like mustard's good on a sandwich or something. But ketchup is life. Like I'll eat ketchup with anything.
Dang, I love that. Let's see. Oh my God. There's so many. There's a
NFL, Richie. Well, I don't know.
Ooh, this one's
NBA or
kind of
NFL is.
spicy.
I would probably say. Well, I'd probably say NBA, but I like football better when it comes to like. I like college football. That's the best.
Ooh, this one's gonna put you on the spot. Favorite creative builder.
Okay, I'm going to probably say Wirt Andrew because
Aw, shout out to
of
Wirt.
the dungeon prison his escape maps like that's what really opened my eyes to creative mode when I
Oh,
played his first dungeon prison. I was like, oh, this is cool, and like that really like opened my eyes to it.
oh, great. Oh, favorite device. That one I did miss in the questions that were submitted. What's your favorite device on
Right
creative slash
now, I mean,
UFM?
it's the sequencer is awesome, but I would say from like creative, um, uh, I mean, I love the. I go back to the time when we didn't have the trigger, so the trigger was like a game changer, changed everything. But the trigger was the most useful device that we had in creative, and but for me, it was the cars when they introduced cars into creative. That's really when like that helped my YouTube channel grow so much because it was like the first big update we'd had in like a year or longer, and it was like it really got people excited about creative mode again. So I loved the cars and
Aw.
I got to build Chupa Chupa Beach off the
Aw.
cars and I was like that was so fun for me. So it's not necessarily the best device, but it was one of those is the one that like that holds a special place in my heart just to be like, "Oh my gosh, we had vehicles in creative that were really fun."
Oh,
Yeah.
and what device would you like to see in creative that we don't have yet? What's your
I mean,
most
I'm
wanted
really excited
device?
about the camera controls to be able to control the camera of the player for first person side scrolling. I think that's a huge one I'm really excited about. I'd also really love to see a weapons manager of some
Ooh,
sort where we can can control weapons better and like do customized weapons and stuff. That would be really fun.
I'm seeing a whole lot of love in chat for chair device as well, which I love.
Oh yeah, the chair
Very
device.
specific.
Come on, Epic.
Chair. Wow, I love it. Oh, and finally, the most important question of the entire day, honestly, and I bet you'd understand. Cats or dogs?
Dogs, but honestly, I'm not a pet. I'm not really a pet person. I like animals, but I don't really like pets in my house as much. I've got 4 kids that are messy enough.
Oh.
So we'll see. We'll see when the kids are out. But yeah, if I had to choose dogs, like for sure.
I'm loving everyone in chat answering questions as well. Thank you all for engaging in this with us. And these rapid fire questions. We're gonna have to make a whole segment out of that. That was fun. Well, thank you so much, Mustard, for being here, and thank you
Thank
all
you.
for joining in who did. We've got a lot of people on all different channels, so thank you for joining in. please, please, please feel free. Give us any feedback you have about these kinds of conversations, or if there's anyone who's interested in coming on, let me know. I've got a decent list, but always room for more. Thank you, Mustard, for your time. Congratulations on your island creator code.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan the Tech Man, for helping set us up. Thank you, Flack, for moderating chat. And thank you to oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you for this wonderful fireplace, Curious too. I don't know if your partner's in here, but thank her too. You guys are awesome. And with that, is there any last thing you'd like to say, Mustard? Any last thoughts?
Just, I love you guys. This is an amazing community. Let's keep it going. And can't wait to see what everyone does.
Yes, yay! Thank you, everyone. All right, with that, that's the end of our fireside chat. Thank you all for attending, and we'll see you all soon. And have a great Halloween night if you celebrate. Have a wonderful week, and yeah, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much again, Mustard.
Yep. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.